morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast presented by FanDuel. It's Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. I'm Jay Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, back from the Great White North, it's Tass Mellis.
Yeah, it's way warmer down here. That's why I'm in a t-shirt. Yeah. Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby. Ayo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. The fun continues today as we continue to celebrate 20 years in the podcast game. And while our next guest needs no introduction, he does demand to hear his own theme song.
So good.
Oh, we are taking it back to the Bone Zone. Joining us this morning in a bathrobe, Brent Barry. There he is. What's up, Bones? How's it going, man?
Good morning, guys. Wow. How bad is that I made a theme song and made you guys play it on your show?
Not bad at all. It still slaps.
I know. I made our show great.
Man.
I forgot how good that was.
I'm gonna put a hat on for you guys and for me at this point.
Okay.
But I thought appropriate to wear this is the robe that I don for my sleeps and my mornings out here. This is the 04 LA All-Star. I'll stand up.
That's
Logo on
Oh,
the
look at the back.
That's pretty sweet.
It's got Brent on the front.
It looks comfortable.
Yeah,
Not going to lie.
In case I didn't know it was mine, it's got my full name there. But
And
hey,
is this segment
you guys-
is called the Bone Zone? Are you fully nude under that, or? No.
well, Bone Zone can be taken a lot of ways. It is awesome to hear your guys' voices. Of course, we visited a little bit before the show. Trey, sorry about your Bears.
Tough loss.
Huge. The Niner game, I turned it off. I'm a huge Niner fan. I turned it off in the first quarter. At least you got to see the whole game.
Yep.
I want to just say this to you guys. It's been 20 years that you guys have been involved in what it is that you guys do. You guys have never lost your authenticity. You've never lost your enthusiasm. And I hope you'll allow me to ask you guys a couple questions about your journey. But I am so grateful for you and what you have done around basketball to be a fan, to see the unseen and point it out to people, to have fun with the game, to introduce the characters and stories that fans typically don't spend time doing because you guys have nothing else to do. I say that facetiously, but you guys are unbelievable. I am so appreciative. I hope you guys know it's coming from a real place about your authenticity, your enthusiasm, and you guys have made fans better because of it. So thank you guys. Congratulations on 20 years to you guys and people behind the scenes, JD, to Lee, to Matt, those that have, been on the journey with you. Thank you guys, and cheers to 20 yeyears. I ordered the shirt, by the way.
Oh, wow. Well, we could have sent you one. Jesus. Well, thank you.
ordered it.
Thank you for the very kind words. And you have, you were our first sort of champion as a former player, obviously, then a broadcaster, then working in front offices and even coaching.
Making the Jones song.
Yeah, you were there. You were there first, honestly, Brent. When a lot of people were like, what the hell are these guys doing? What's this show about? What's their vibe? You seem to always get it, and we appreciate that too. And You've been here for a long time, so thank you.
So two quick other things. I want to thank NBA TV and the people at Turner for inviting you guys into that family for the years that you guys were there.
Yeah.
Great foresight from them. But can you guys tell the story of when I showed up in San Antonio? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, that was the no season required tour. That was obviously the league had shut down, and we were like, well, what are we going to do? We were working at the Score at the time. We're like, I don't know, somehow convinced our bosses to let us take this podcast on the road, stop in like 10 cities in North America. One of the stops was San Antonio, and we're trying by ourselves to like book places, be it like little comedy clubs or venues. But San Antonio ended up being in a hotel conference room.
Yeah, it did.
But we had a great turnout, and we got linked up with you And you like surprised us though, or like we got linked up with the Spurs, I guess it was, and they said
There'll be a
somebody's
guest.
coming. Yeah, that's what it was. Somebody's coming from the Spurs organization.
So I was a big fan of what you guys were doing. I reached out to the organization. I said, hey, can you get a hold of somebody that's involved with these guys and the show that they're doing? And they said, yeah, no problem. So I think they reached out to you guys, but I literally, if you guys remember, I went and grabbed beers
Yeah,
Yeah.
and brought some beers to this hotel room downtown San Antonio.
that's right.
And went into the room, and it was a great turnout. You guys had,
It was.
I don't know, 60 or 70 people in this tiny little room. And I was like, dang, this is awesome. And we just shared a beer and hung out for a little bit. And I don't know, years later, all of a sudden you guys are at NBA TV and you're doing the thing. And it was just like, man, I'm so proud of these guys and what they do, like I mentioned before. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for that, for your friendship, and congrats on 20 years.
Thank you. Let's get into some NBA talk and some of things you've been up to since we last saw you at NBA TV when you were in the Bone Zone on the starters. We got to start with some unfortunate news. We got to get your opinion on what happened last night with the Golden State Warriors and Jimmy Butler going down with that knee injury, and then they obviously do the MRI, and yep, it's what we all feared, torn ACL. He's out for the season. You said before we went live, Bones, that you were watching it. The first question sort of becomes like, where do the Warriors go from here now that Jimmy's out for the rest of the season?
Yeah, it kind of felt like there was maybe a clear path for the Warriors in the next couple weeks after being on this great win streak and starting to turn the corner both offensively and defensively, that a Kuminga trade and some other parts, and that they could make this run with Jimmy playing, close to an all-star level in terms of efficiency, Steph being awesome, the rest and recovery for Draymond. Kuminga trade might have brought in the pieces, and then with 7.5 minutes to go, I think Mike Dunleavy's world just started going in the opposite direction. What do the Warriors do? This sounds like it's a year injury for Jimmy Butler. And I guess this morning, you guys woke me up early and I'm just having coffee, but my brain's starting to turn on. Would the Warriors consider at this point Steph Curry being on the trade market?
Whoa.
Like if you said a year, it's going to take Jimmy a year. And if Kuminga's not going to bring back parts, obviously, that are going to be anywhere close to a Jimmy Butler level player, not just for now, but for the playoffs and for the foreseeable year, for the good of the franchise, is there anything there that turns that, or is it just, oh man, too bad this year. We're going to have to figure something out in the summer, knowing that you're not on the incline, as Steve Kerr has alluded to many times this year. For the good of the franchise, would there be any consideration? I hate to throw that out there. That's a
what did that
For
take?
sure, you gotta think.
Wouldn't that take
possible.
Steph Curry going to Mike Dunleavy Jr. and going to the Warriors owners and being
100%.
like, yeah,
100% Skeets. Like that would be Mike and Steve call and say, hey, Steph, we got a decision to make.
yeah.
Here's what we could do, and here's what you could consider, and we would honor anything that it is that you want to do in this request. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I guess as my brain is starting to fire this morning, for the good of the San Francisco, or for the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland, and Warrior fan base, and for the organization, what does this morning look like for the Warriors? Not anything like they expected in terms of what their future looks like. So,
Yeah. And then
Sad-
one more
sad
question with this. Like, do you think there's any way they can almost walk back the awkwardness with Jonathan Kuminga? I know Steve Kerr was asked about it last night. Like, could Kuminga slot into the Jimmy Butler role now? And he said sure, and he said absolutely. But we know how Kuminga feels maybe wanting being traded, and obviously the Warriors were looking towards that path. Like, can this be salvaged, you think? Bones, like between
I don't think so.
them? No,
I don't think so. For the rest of the year, if the decision is, look, we're not going to do anything like I just suggested with Steph, we're not going to do that to our organization. That you lean on Jonathan, knowing that at the end of this season, you're going to do something with Jonathan and wait till draft time to figure out a move for him. But you know what disappoints me about a couple of things on the Kuminga thing is, one, there's a lot of people talking about or have spoken about Steve Kerr doing things to Jonathan Kuminga that are unfair. And to that end, I don't love that. If you're talking about a guy who's in Steve Kerr, who's been around this game long enough, he would never jeopardize a player's career. I know you could say he has to this point, but he'd never want to damage a young player's career to the point where he can't recover. So he's doing what's best for the organization and sitting Jonathan Kuminga. The other thing that I think is key here with Jonathan's situation is there have been opportunities. And in fact, I was broadcasting the game when they played against Oklahoma City a couple weeks ago. This was mid-December, where they had some guys who were going to be out for that game. Steph was not going to play. Draymond was not going to play. Jimmy was not going to play. Kuminga was not hurt prior to going to the game. And they asked Jonathan about playing in the game, and he came up with that his back was hurting. That was officially on the injury report.
Yeah.
And he just didn't want to play.
Right.
He didn't want to play against Oklahoma City. And to me, when you get to that point where a player is deciding to not step on the court and compete, I don't care what the situation is. I don't care if you're happy about your role or if you're pissed off about the GM, the head coach, or whatever. Go out and play the game that you're supposed to be playing with that kind of fire, and don't worry about the rest of it. But to decline the competition part, I think is where this thing really got untied completely, where Jonathan was not going to be playing for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think you hit on all the three main takeaways from Jimmy going down are like, what does this mean for Jimmy for the end of his career, since he's getting older in age and coming to the tail end of things anyways. It's going to be another year that he's out. Can Kuminga still be a trade piece, or do they dust him off and see what he can do? And then, is Curry going to want to stick around a Warriors team where they were already like a dark horse contender? But Bones, was there ever a time in your career where one of the leaders of your team went down in the middle of the season and you kind of had to scramble and figure out how we're going to approach this for the rest of the season?
I don't think I ever played on a team in the 14 years that there was a significant injury like that. I mean, maybe in Houston, there was a rally in Houston in my last year. I wasn't playing all that much, but I got to watch, Yao Ming, Luis Scola. I'm bringing up some names for the young kids to look up, but Yao Ming, Luis Scola. At the time, Von Wafer was playing great for the Houston Rockets. Luther Head, Kyle Lowry, Shane Battier. And this is a team that got into the playoffs and was competing. And Tracy McGrady was not available to that team. So there was this big rally around it. That team was a little bit deeper and experienced. But for Golden State, I mean, I don't want to just be flippant about Steph wanting to leave Golden. I just don't think that's going to happen. But the things that have to be going through the front office in terms of what Joe and Mike Dunleavy and Steve Kerr want to do in the wake of this, because all the talk is you just don't want to waste Steph Curry and his chances to compete again. And you know what? Steph's such an adult, such a great leader that he might just say, no, I'm not leaving here because of that situation. I'll continue to play, do the best that we can, and accept the results. But man, devastating last night. 7.5 minutes to go. Saw it. Was listening to Jimmy because they had the audio screaming on the ground. You guys heard that with Buddy Hield saying, "Get up, man!" Yeah. And I'm going, "Oh my God, the Warriors world just came crashing down."
Yeah, in so many ways. And then Jimmy being Jimmy, joking on the way to the locker room.
He wanted a foul.
Yeah, wanted a foul. And Buddy said, "Yeah, he was joking. He's coming back." But obviously, we hear the news and. Yeah, torn apart. To see Kuminga take that place, I mean, that would be
wild.
It's very wild. It seems way out there.
Yeah,
it is. But I'm throwing it out there as hey man, we got to meet and talk about every possibility at this point with what's happened, because our season has been completely derailed. There's no way to make up for what Jimmy is, and how he plays, and how much of an impact he makes on both ends of the floor. We'll see what happens, but man, devastating.
Let's go back to 2018, Bones. We were working with you at NBA TV, but then you returned to the Spurs in a front office position, and you were there for 7 years, I guess, in the end.
Six?
Excuse me, 6 years in the end. One of the things that happened, though, is you guys got some luck with the ping pong balls, and you got a chance to draft Victor Wembanyama. Do you deserve all the credit for drafting Wemby there, part of the Spurs?
I hope I don't get anything for this, but Stevie Wonder would have drafted Victor Wembanyama. Also, you're skipping over, Skeets, a lot of seasons in which the San Antonio Spurs under Coach Pop were competitive, but not a lot of pretty games to watch to be in a position to where the draft ultimately was, the whole earth axis tilted on that day when the ping pong balls ended up with San Antonio having the number 1 pick. I think it was 4 or 5 maybe that the Spurs percentage-wise should have gotten in that year. And all of a sudden, number 1 in the year that Scoot Henderson and Victor Wembanyama are clearly the class of the draft. If you listen to all the scouts that year, I remember going to Las Vegas and watching Victor and Scoot. Do you guys remember when they had that battle and both of them played incredible games in the exhibition when Victor had come over and they were playing against what is now defunct, the G League Ignite. But yeah, I mean, the prize was there. The prize was supposed to be in Detroit. Detroit had that awful season and they had positioned themselves to be there. And all of a sudden, I don't know, I've asked both Coach Pop and R.C. Buford to get MRIs to see if there is a rabbit foot up their ass. The luck that they have had, and the passing of the torch from David Robinson to Tim Duncan and then to Victor.
Unbelievable!
What an incredible run of incredible centers and talent and people and spots to lay the foundation of your organization on. He's an incredible young man, as you guys know. His offseason is now storied, and what he did and how he handles himself and what he's doing and the confidence he has, the bravado he has, the belief that he has. Incredibly, those supersede the talent that he has, and he has been dominant. He is awesome. He is awesome.
We've seen a lot of crazy Wemby things. We just saw him kick balls out of the net while they're up there. He's got incredible flexibility that was showing off during his training with the Shaolin monks. Is there anything that you saw from Wemby, behind the scenes with the Spurs, that would wow people?
I don't think there's any physical thing specific I could point to on that, Trey, but I will say this. For those that watch him closely, even in the games that are broadcast, if you watch Victor's discipline to his regiment, and this happens every day in the practice gym and in the weight room, along with what he does during the game. He has all of these mechanical things that he does for his body in terms of warming up and stretching and get ready to go into the games that he does without fail. And I think about how many players I played with, even myself, with regards to that kind of discipline, that I don't see that from many people. And it's a series of stretches with bands. He's got his personal trainer that came over with him from France, and they do all these things without fail every day to get himself ready to play at his optimum. I will share one thing on the personal side that I know Vic does. At night between 8 and 9 o'clock, he finds a room and does not talk to, see, or communicate with anybody for 1 hour. He just will read or be on his own to not be inundated with anything and to provide him some space. And he does that without fail. So his discipline and this is, you guys know this, you guys have been around so many great players during your time doing what you're doing now. You hear the stories of greatness, and that kind of greatness requires that kind of discipline. Yeah. And way beyond the next game or whatever, he has a vision for 10 years from now, 15 years from now about what he wants to accomplish and the team goals that he has, and constantly talks about those things to speak them into their existence. Man, I love watching him play. He looks like a baby deer at times, and you worry that something's going to break. He gets up, he runs back down, he gets involved in the play. But what he's doing to warp the game on every night that he's on the court, you'll see something completely unique from Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, that is most definitely the thing that comes to mind first. When you start talking about Wemby, it's not so much that he's a 7'5" that can give you a step back at any time. It's everything off the court. right? Everything that he puts the
mental,
blood, sweat, and tears into it. Opening a book at All-Star game with Nikola Jokic saying, "What are you doing, man?
You brought a book?
You're bringing a book
funny.
to the All-Star game?" But yeah, I like the story of between 8 and 9 p.m. He's just locked in, which it all makes sense.
It's 1 o'clock.
That's right.
You sent us a photo of his first practice in San Antonio. Was it just smiling ear to ear for every single person there? What was that like?
I mean, the anticipation of the draft was one thing, but the anticipation beyond that of finally Victor being in San Antonio and putting on his Nikes for his very first practice. You guys can see in this photo, you've got every member of the basketball department between the coaches and the trainers and the strength coaches and all the guys for the summer league. Cause this is before summer league. You got a number of bodies there. But behind me in this photo is about 45 members of the front office. And so I didn't know the Spurs had this many employees. We had this first practice and he was awesome. I will share with you guys, they played some 5-on-5 and they got down to the last game they were playing and Victor made the winning shot. And everybody's looking at each other like, perfect for today.
Yeah.
Well, it happened the next day and the next day and the next day. And we were all remarking like this guy is just built for these moments. And it was awesome. It was just awesome.
That's great. Let's talk a little bit about your time with the Phoenix Suns. You were an assistant coach last year under Budenholzer.
Well, let me get a cup of coffee.
Oh, boy. Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
The therapy is not yet kicked in.
Well, I mean, a couple things.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened with the Phoenix Suns sort of last year with you being up close and personal with it? And then, let's talk a little bit of like what you're seeing from the Suns this year and obviously new pieces and stuff like that.
No, I'm happy to talk to you guys about it. So great opportunity. Mike Budenholzer called me last summer. I guess it is now. It feels like a long time ago. And asked me if I wanted to come because I've had thoughts about getting into coaching and been waiting for opportunities. And as you guys know, in this league, you got to go with good people. And so I thought about it and left the Spurs front office position to go with Mike Budenholzer, who had a previous relationship with obviously many years in San Antonio for Bud. And following his success in Atlanta and Milwaukee and being an NBA championship coach. And I thought, wow, this would be amazing. Phoenix, obviously great talent there with Kevin and Brad and Book. Coming off interesting situation with Frank Vogel, who's a great coach that just didn't work out there. And Matt Ishbia thinking like, oh, we need a change and we're going to lean into somebody who's going to promote a little more team basketball. And that's what Mike tries to do. The situation there overall, I would tell you guys, being on the inside it was a team that just didn't know how to get along. Mm-hmm. I would tell you they all were cordial towards one another. They all, came to practice and were friendly, but it was one of those situations where you're just not invested. And obviously the job of a coach or a coaching staff is to one, get guys prepared to compete at the highest level, but two, to find a way for it all to work out. And unfortunately for the entirety of the staff, I mean, we just didn't find a way to get the team last year in Phoenix with Kevin, Brad, and Devin to work together. And I thought it was going to be a sling back from what happened with Frank Vogel and the disappointment from the year before, that there would be some piss and vinegar in the team and that these guys would want to show like, hey, we've got the highest salary in the league. We've got to figure this thing out together. Let's use our superpowers to do that. Let's use our superpowers for good. Unfortunately, they used them the other way and found ways to like dismantle that roster. And sadly, they just didn't commit to one another. And this is not like a personal attack on those guys. When you have that kind of separation between your top end talent, I mean, I don't know what the contracts were. I think Brad was the fourth highest paid player in the league. And Kevin, obviously, and Devin there. And then you have this big gap between the rest of the group. If clearly those guys don't have a hierarchy, and you're not, as a member of the team, as a player, you're not aware of which of the guys we're leaning on the most, it confuses the rest of the team. And I think we had a lot of guys who didn't exactly know what the expectations were. And again, this comes back to really good coaching and leadership. You have to define those for a team. And at no point did we do that for the Phoenix Suns last year. And you could tell as soon as the season was over with, what did Phoenix do? They made a lot of changes, which included the coaching staff getting fired. I get that. But what has happened to them, to your point, Skeets, is they made changes for like the core of their culture.
Right.
Bringing in, knowing that Devin Booker is a lifetime Sun, bringing in Dylan Brooks, exercising themselves of Kevin and Brad, and saying like, look, we'll clearly define who it is that our organization is behind as the leader. Devin Booker is our guy, franchise leading scorer, loves the Valley, all the things. But what was clear was that over two and a half years, that the core of this team did not get along. We have to find a way to get guys in here who enjoy playing for one another and want to compete. So Dylan Brooks has changed that culture again. It's the third time he's been at a place where he's done that. I'm so thrilled for the guys I got a chance to work with, Ryan Dunn and Colin Gillespie. Great young players, hungry players, willing players that are getting an opportunity. Colin, especially this year, he's been so awesome.
Yeah.
And Jordan Ott has done an awesome job just making those guys believe in the system that he's put in. And they've had the sling back year happened a year later. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm happy for those guys and what they're doing and surprising the Western Conference. Sorry to be so preachy, but I enjoyed the experience. Like, this is the NBA. It sucks. When you're losing. It sucks.
Oh, when you're losing, yes.
Well, it sucks when you lose. It sucks when the expectations.
Yeah.
And as a former player, coaching guys, like I could read the room with those guys. I could see sort of the approach to those guys daily on their practice habits and what they were doing in games to not be building, to be tearing down what it is that's the opportunity in front of them. And as a guy that's been retired for 15 years, to watch all that and have the knowledge of it was such a fascinating, personally, selfishly, fascinating thing to watch it. But to be around that game that way, to travel with the team again, to be on the practice court, to try to help young guys, to watch how good the coaches in the league are, how elevated the talent is in this league, and how fragile it is to operate a franchise. It was a great experience. So I'm happy I did it, and I'm thrilled for Jordan Ott and Brian Gregory and the recovery the Suns have had this year. They've been really, really fun to watch.
How can a team turn it around mid-season? Like you're saying, I'm looking at like the Knicks. They're struggling right now, right? They've lost 9 of their last 11. They're kind of in a similar spot with where the Suns were, where there's a lot of expectations coming into the season. Definitely a top-heavy team comparing the starters to the bench. And they just don't seem like they're on the same page at all right now, getting booed off the court in multiple games. Is it even possible to like join back together, get on the same page, and rattle off some victories?
It's a great question, Trey. This is why, again, I'll point to how fragile it is with regards to winning and how difficult it is to get a group of guys to believe in the one thing as opposed to their thing. And for the Knicks, the last thing that you want is to give ammunition to any team to join together to not like one thing collectively. And in the Knicks case, because of the change, like you guys know what's coming, right? In the next couple of weeks with Tom Thibodeau would have never allowed this to happen. You know what's going to happen in the next 7-8 days.
It's already started.
Yeah. To poke the bear about, hey, these guys feel like early success, the fumes of last year, they've been together a long time. They know each other too well. That now now guys are playing with agenda. And Tom Thibodeau would have never allowed, look, it's going to happen. And like I mentioned before, don't let your team rally around hating one thing, and do not let that one thing be the coach. Because as soon as that happens, the efforts that you're giving, the genuine effort on a competitive level that you're giving is false, because you're not believing in the leader who's trying to conduct the orchestra. And you guys start playing your own solos and it doesn't work. And the Knicks thing is so fragile because of the market that they're in and the attention that they get. I mean, you guys know, like, all of a sudden Karl Anthony Towns is being rumored to be traded to 2 or 3 different teams. This team was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Everybody's talking about bringing them all back together. He's a huge piece for the team. You guys are starting to talk about trading this guy. So it's tough, Trey, to bring it back together. But they've got to rally around one another and the greater good. I hope they do that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about you joining Amazon Prime prior to this season. How is that going? Why the decision to go back into NBA broadcasting? I know you're doing some pre and post game work for the Clippers as well. Talk about that, Bones.
Well, I got fired.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you needed a job.
Looking for work.
Yep.
I called Lee Ellis. He wouldn't take me for the world tour.
He's looking for a cameraman.
Lee's like, I got this. I said, it can be the bone zone with the no drone zone, right? He's been in places where like, let's do this, Lee. And he actually didn't answer my call.
Oh, wow.
So great. It's actually a super interesting story. I'll try not to be long-winded, but I tend to be. I got a call from Paul Benedict, who works for the NBA office.
Yes.
I was like, oh, you guys know Paul.
We know Paul.
Paul said to me, he goes, Brent, what are you going to do now that your coaching career is over after 1 year? And I said, thanks, Paul. I said, what do you have in mind? He goes, well, Amazon is still looking for people for broadcasting. And, we really enjoyed when you were with Turner and doing games. And I said, well, that's very kind of you. I said, I would love it, Paul. If there's an opportunity to do anything, please. So he made a couple of phone calls. I know Ian Eagle, Bird, was already hired by Amazon and had talked to a couple people on my behalf. And I got a call 6 days later, from someone at Amazon. And all of a sudden, they offered me an opportunity to be part of their team. And I was just over the moon about it. The fact that I could stay around the game, go back to broadcasting, which I love to do. The people that they had brought in, Ian Eagle, Kevin Harlan, Michael Grady, those guys are the best of the best. By the way, Michael Grady is an interesting guy. You know how we talk about work-life balance all the time? This guy has a work imbalance. He works for Minnesota.
Yep.
He works for Peacock.
Yep.
He works for Amazon, and like he's doing a move right now. He's moving out of one place into another city. I don't know how Michael Grady's doing what he's doing, but anyway, amazing people. I don't know how you guys feel. I think the broadcasts and the optionality and the voices that the league is hearing from are awesome.
Yeah.
I think the investment, the time spent, it is clear that Steve Nash, Steve Blake, Dirk, Udonis, they are watching. Tracy Scal doesn't watch. He just watches the Celtics. But
Vince,
everybody, Vince, they're all watching. But beyond that, they're like you guys. They're celebrating what guys are doing.
Yeah.
They're telling the stories about why the season is starting to happen this way and what's been really positive. And they're breaking down basketball plays and showing some of the nuances. And that kind of investment this year, I think, has really helped the league in terms of the interest. And I really enjoyed being a part of that. I'm just so thankful to Amazon for that opportunity.
Well, it's great to have you back on the air.
Sure. You absolutely fit right in. Go ahead.
Pass, can we ask you? I think you made mention the other day about MJ. You guys were talking about MJ and the NBC thing.
Yeah.
Did we not see that was going to be a thing?
Yes.
What were we hopeful for? What were you guys? No, honestly, do you remember, Trey? What were you hopeful for when you heard MJ was going to be on NBC?
I would like to hear him speak on things that are like currently happening. I think it's not surprising the way it went down. They did the big interview and they're chopping it up into pieces. It kind of seemed clear from the first insights to excellence that that's what it was going to be. But I would love to hear him talking about LeBron playing at age 41. You know, like MJ is one of the few guys who has experience playing into his 40s as well, and having to figure out how to be one of the greatest players of all time at the end of your career. I'd love to hear what he thinks about, you know, Trae Young and Ja Morant wanting to leave the teams that they're on. I just would like to hear him speak on things that are happening during the season.
Yeah, just the current game, the transition to the current game. That's all we want from MJ. And part of the mystique is he doesn't talk about that. But then you get the note here. It's the press release. Here he comes. He's the contributor. So you expect him to be part of this transition, right? We're going into a different era of TV. So you expect him to be, you know, something. But as you said, Brent, we knew it was coming. We weren't getting a lot of MJ.
I'm with you. I thought it would have been fascinating for just Michael to sit down with today's best players to have conversations about their evolution as players, what they like about the league, that kind of thing. But I will say this, like, they always talk about the pedestal is a dangerous place, both for the one looking up and the one on it. And I think that the myth of, you guys talked about this, but the myth of Michael Jordan, and for the longevity of Michael Jordan and the kind of William Wallace stuff that you get about Michael Jordan for as many years, the last thing you want to do is humanize yourself.
Great point.
The last thing that you want to do is to talk about things, because the penalty for growing up is that we learn that these people are just people. And I think, as great as the idea was for NBC and bringing back the thing to have Michael involved, the choice that he made, I will say, was the right choice to not do that.
We want Michael Jordan to be Paul Bunyan, right?
Yes.
But if we sit down with Paul Bunyan, we're like, you're shorter than Trae. That's not as impressive.
You can't eat that many pancakes.
Yeah, exactly. So, speaking to the myth.
And in this business, you guys know, the longer that you're doing it and the more that you speak, you have to fill time. You know what I mean? I'm serious. You have to be on air, and like, this segment's 4 minutes. Okay, so we're going to talk, but I may exhaust the one thought that I think is most helpful for people to learn or to have insight about me or to tell a story. And then after that, there's more. And when that part starts to happen is when the human part of people come out. And I think that was going to be problematic. And I think Michael, to his credit, saw that. He's like, hey, I'll give you guys a couple hours, but I'm not, studio and that kind of stuff. I'm not interested in doing that.
So no one expected that. No one expected.
Can I tell a quick MJ story?
Hell yeah.
Please.
Yeah. No MJ stories here. Of course.
Well, mine's weird. So I don't want to sound like bougie, but people go to Italy. So I went to Italy. I took my wife over to Italy, and we were staying at this kind of smallish hotel, like nothing too grandiose, right?
Right.
Just 3 seasons or what?
It was a nice hotel, and so I was down in the pool area, and there was a couple of kids that were there that were swimming around in their 13, 14 years old. And I was sitting with my wife, and she's sitting with someone else. And the kid swims over and goes, "Mom, I can't do an Australian accent. I need leave. Mom, Michael Jordan's at the hotel." And I kind of overheard, my wife was speaking with the mother, and I was like, what? And the kid goes, "Michael Jordan." And the mom goes, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, no, look, and pointed up to the balcony area, which was, 60 yards away.
Okay.
Up there is 3 security guards and a couple of people silhouetted that you could potentially see that might be Michael Jordan. Can't quite make it out because it's far enough away. So we're sitting by the pool. The kind of commotion of the kids ends. My wife asked me, she goes, do you think we could, if he's here, could we meet him? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure we will. This is a pretty small hotel.
Right.
She goes, "But do you know him?" And I went, "Yeah, I know him." And she goes, "No, but do you know him?" And I said, "Yes, I know him." So day goes on. we get up the next day in the morning to get a cup of coffee, and we go down, have a like brunch time. And we go down, and Michael is on this patio with his security, and lo and behold, Ahmad Rashad.
Oh, his main man.
Let's go. Why wouldn't he be there? So we walk down the steps, and Michael is there with his wife in a party, and they're kind of hanging out. So we sit down at this other little table underneath this umbrella, grab a cup of coffee, and my wife goes, "Why don't you go over there and say hello?" I said, "Hold on a second." So we sit, and I go over to the security guard. They're all positioned in this triangle formation,
Right.
kind of making sure that Michael's not bothered at the hotel. Again, it's not very big, but I talk to the security guy, and I say, "Hey, I don't want to bother your detail, but I know Michael. I played against him for a lot of years. If you get a chance, will you just let him know that I'm here and I'd love to say hello. My name is Brent Barry, blah, blah, blah." I go back and sit at the table. My wife goes, "What the hell are you doing?" And I said, "Just hold on." Michael's wife gets up from the table, and she comes over to the security guard, and I can see he's explaining to her what just happened.
Right.
She goes back to the table, and I'm sitting here. My wife is sitting there, and Michael's off in the distance over that. I'll point over this way. So over her shoulder, my wife's got her back to Michael. So she's saying to me, "What is happening right now?" And I said, "Just hold on a second." Michael's wife is telling Michael, pointing my way.
That's Brent Barry.
And Ahmad is next to Michael. And my wife's going, "What is happening?" And I said, "Well, Michael's waving." She goes, "Get out, get out." I said, "Yeah, he's waving. Oh, he's getting up. He's coming over." And she's like, "What? He's coming over?" I said, "Yeah, he's just." So Michael gets up from the table. Both him and Ahmad come over. I stand up and gives a big hug, and we visit for a little while. He was there for a wedding. Ahmad came with him. Whatever. It was a great visit.
Right.
For about 10 minutes. And just talking about stuff and visiting. And both of us both my wife and I had our phones. Obviously, we're sitting there, blah, blah, blah. I kind of grab Ahmad and have a talk with him so that my wife can have a few minutes with Michael Jordan.
Sure.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we say our goodbyes. We don't take a picture. There's nothing, which I think is the best part of this, because it's a memory, which is how it should be. Don't bother Michael's time. He goes on. And the rest of the day, my wife and I did a little boat tour, and we had a nice meal that night. And to her credit, she goes, "You know what? When meeting Michael Jordan is the third best thing that happens to you on a day, that's a pretty good day."
Wow.
So I know a long story. Probably people like turning this thing off. But one of the coolest things for Michael to get up from his table.
Oh,
Michael Jordan, get up from his table, where I don't go over to him, to get up, to come over, to visit, to ask about my mom, my family, my brothers, to spend some time. Just a great memory for me. And I have many with Michael, as you guys know, but that one stands out. So
That's pretty
Thank
incredible.
you. Thank you
share
for
that
sharing.
one.
Well,
with you
one of the
guys.
questions I was going to ask you, Bones, I know we got to get going here, but if you played in today's era, all these guys have podcasts now. Would Brent Barry have his own podcast? Would you have the Bone Zone?
I think I would probably dip my toe into it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. I'll tell you one I'm not liking is the Rich Paul one, but I think it's crazy what is out there if you search. I think I would have done it and just had some fun with it, and just shared a little bit of what's going on and have some perspective on things. So I probably would have done it.
Would you also have worn the undershirt under the jersey if you played
Yes.
today? Yeah,
I would have.
because you wore it in college games. I definitely saw photos at times. You had the big black one underneath the Oregon State and sometimes a white one. So you would have been one of these guys. Okay.
I would have done
Because
it.
why? Is it cold in there or what?
I think I just got used to doing it in college. So if you told me I could do it in the pros, but the rule was back then you couldn't do it.
That's
Like,
right.
They
Yeah, let's see
literally
those arms.
when you say that, Skeets, I immediately go back to Patrick Ewing in the gray Georgetown.
Yes.
Right? Like that's my first vision of somebody wearing a T-shirt underneath. Like I never envisioned Patrick Ewing not wearing a shirt underneath. And then all those Knicks years, of course, Beast was out there with just his Knicks jersey on. So, you guys all in agreement with the All-Stars, the starters?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show.
Yeah.
I can't get too worked up about it because the guys that are the snubs of the All-Star starters, let's say Donovan Mitchell, let's say Anthony Edwards, like they're going to be starting for one of the American teams. So they sort of are starters. But do you have an opinion on the USA versus the world format here? Are you excited for this or meh, doesn't change much if they don't try?
I don't get like upset that the league keeps trying these things. I just remember the spectacle of the game. I remember just being super fortunate as a kid to go to the All-Star game that was in Seattle in 89, 88.
Yeah, right.
I think 87 All-Star game.
87. That's Lee Ellis's favorite game.
Okay.
Yeah.
87. So I was on the court when Michael Jordan was doing like the kiss the rim.
Oh my
I was
God.
on the court. Maybe that was the inspiration for years later, but I was there. Like, holy shit. I have the picture of Michael with me and my brother Drew. I think I've shown you guys this in the locker room before the dunk contest together. So, yeah, I know the league keeps messing around. I just love the spectacle of every guy coming out in their actual jerseys or in their actual warm-ups, not uniform warm-up. Every uniform represented, you know, the Laker purple and the Boston green and the Bulls red and the Spurs black. Like that's the part that I miss, but that's nostalgia. Hopefully it goes well. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I'm looking forward to All-Star Weekend as always. And see where it goes.
You always seem to understand like All-Star Weekend is this celebration of the game and we can put on a show for fans and kids. Like I just rewatched your highlights from the rookie game in 96. You were hooping. You were dropping dimes left and right in that game. A couple fantastic passes, some dunks. And obviously you did the dunk contest as well. You later did the 3-point contest and like, you seem to get, this can be fun. We don't need to take it so seriously, but you can still compete, I guess is the point.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point, is it's an exhibition. Yeah. There is nothing on the line like Major League Baseball. It's supposed to be fun, and you're supposed to have fun with it. When you first said, Skeets, in today's, like, think about today's game, and you in today's game, I actually got excited. I was like, oh, man, I would have loved just give me 1 month of playing, where you shoot, you know, your first available shot is a 3, shoot it.
Yeah.
You get to run in transition, pass, cut, move the ball. You can rebound and bring the ball up I mean, it gets me so excited. And I think that's why I love today's game in that way, because it's deep down in my core, it really speaks to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just like my first year playing for the Los Angeles Clippers under legendary coach Bill Fitch, our team averaged 11 3-point shots a game.
That's it. Wow.
And I just scratched my head about like 11 a game. Like there's 7 guys every year that take 10 or more in this league. To think that your coach at that time was telling you, hey, hit the ball into Stojko Vregovic. Get the ball into Stanley Roberts.
Yeah.
Like, let's get Lloyd Vaughn.
Lloyd Vaught's open. Yeah.
Get him a touch.
Let's get Lloyd that 15-foot. Let's have Pooh Richardson come off that side screen roll and take the elbow jumper. That's a good shot for us. Yeah.
Very different. Are you
world.
still are you a weekend warrior still? Are you still hooping at all? Or
I'll
you
go
just
shoot.
Yeah.
I'll go shoot. Playing is a little bit taxing on me physically. My back has had some issues with deteriorating discs along with my mental capacities. But the other day I bought a basketball at Target, and I was driving home, and there's a nice outdoor court that they just redid that's near my house, maybe half a mile. And for some reason, the whole left side parking lot was empty. And for some reason, I pulled over and I took this ball out of that terrible cardboard that they put around basketballs. Like you're wrestling with it, you know. You're like, it's supposed to be easy, but the tabs never work. And you half the ball's exposed, so it frustrates you because you're like, this should come out. And I grabbed the ball and I went to that court and I shot for like 20 minutes.
Damn.
The basketball wasn't for me. It was for a kid that I bought it for. And I shot for 20 minutes. The sun was out. It was a terrible rim, one of those double rims. If you shoot a 6-footer, it bounces over the fence. And I don't know. I shot a couple free throws. It was weird. I went back to the free throw line and I did what I always do to finish what a shooting workout would be, and got to the free throw line and took the free throws that I would take, like programmed. It was weird.
I bet.
And I walked off that court kind of smiling and enjoying it. And I went back home and the kid came over and I gave him the ball and he goes, I thought you said this was new. I said, it's broken in. It's broken in. Like, don't worry about it. It's new.
Did you think about putting it back in the box, or is that crazy talk?
No, the box was so shredded.
Destroyed.
Like, yeah, pieces of it all over the place.
That kid got a ball from a 2-time NBA champ. Bones, thank you so much, man, for coming on. It's great to see you. Great to talk to you. Enjoy All-Star Weekend. It's right down the road from you this year at the Intuit Dome. And appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate you, again, being a champion of the show for, I don't know, 15 years, it feels like.
I'm honored, and like I said to you guys, I'm so proud of what you guys have done in and around the game, and for yourselves, your families, and for the adventures and stories that you guys get to tell. So thank you, and we'll talk to you guys down the road.
Yeah, looking forward to when the Seattle Supersonics have a team back in the NBA. Okay. Rocking the Jimi Hendrix shirt there. Brent Barry, everyone. Hit the like button, subscribe for Bones. Obviously, give it up in the stream team for Brent Barry. That was awesome. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, get into some of last night's games and some news. See you, Bones.
The NBA's cooking right now. Get out of the way, NFL. It's NBA time. And FanDuel's putting you in control right from tip-off. Because today, you get to choose your reward. It's like choosing your own adventure. How do you want to play? It's totally up to you. I'm reading this, but you can play how you see fit. FanDuel fits your mood if you want to go for it with a profit boost, play it smart with a no-sweat bet, or hedge with a bet-back token. No matter how you play, FanDuel is giving you the power to choose your reward and own your game this NBA season. So make your pick, get in the game, and play it your way.
If you're just joining us on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe. Podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. Good time in Canada with the guys.
Good time in Canada. Yes.
You had your sort of your buddies, big group of almost like an Olympics. Guys do. Yeah.
Annual games. Yeah, we get together just to throw the arms around each other and see each other. That was fun.
How did your team do this year? I know you've been on some struggling teams over the last couple of seasons.
Rebuilding teams.
But you guys were redrafted this year, as you always are. But
it was a fun format. Every captain was a captain who had never won a title.
Oh, so, I like that. Okay.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
Yeah.
And we each had a country assigned to us. It was Team Greece.
Yeah, sure.
Great uniforms. Had a toga. Had a pre-made jersey as well.
Wow.
Pretty cool. We came down to the wire with Team Canada.
Okay.
As well as Team India.
Oh, we had a battle,
Team India came out victorious. It was very, very good, though. It was a good battle.
Okay.
One I'll write the kids about. It was pretty fun. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Well, it's good to have you back. Again, thanks to Bones for joining us earlier in the show there.
Jones can't play for Team Australia. He never had a good Australian accent. I was reminded. We went back. We did that announcer where we forced him to throw in a few lines during the game, and he tried to drop in the Australian. That was a very solid play, but he can never do the Australian. We'll share that clip, along
I
with
forgot
everything.
how funny that clip was.
It is so good.
Bones doing 5 or 6 things he had to say during a summer league game and did them all.
He did them
eventually got them all in, but yeah.
He gave one to Kevin McHale to do.
Yeah.
You do it, man. But it was good. It was really good.
All right. Well, we asked Bones his thoughts on Jimmy Butler, but let's hear from you guys in a little more detail. Season-ending torn right ACL there in that win over the Heat last night. Of course, it's against the Heat, isn't it? He went to grab an entry pass in the middle of the paint, sort of collided with Davion Mitchell, and that right knee twisted on landing. And it sent him sprawling to the court in agony. And holy man, he was grabbing it and screaming there, down for a couple minutes before being carried off. And MRI says torn ACL. So what do you What do you think the Warriors will honestly do here now that he's out for the season? You still got this. Are we trading Kuminga? Are we not? Like, what's your best guess here?
My best guess is they stick to the plan. Unfortunately, they're going to trade Jonathan Kuminga for somebody, but they're just going to try and do it internally because that has been clicking. They come to this homestand here that's 7 games old with the hopes that this team that needs to rotate and fire around and pass the ball will get better at it. And they did. They're 6-1 over the last 7 games. They're clicking. And so all those guys, like Brandon Pajemski is advanced. Al Horford is alive. D'Anthony Melton playing great, 17 points per game over the 7-game home stand. So what's going to happen is they hope they get something for Kuminga, but it's probably D'Anthony Melton. I mentioned D'Anthony Melton. He's probably going to be the guy who replaces Jimmy Butler as the guy who's sort of the connector on the offense and on the first unit. And then when he goes to the second unit and they play a little more ISO, he'll just be there to help out. So he's going to try to be Jimmy Part 2 because I don't see them getting anything good enough for Jonathan Kuminga. There's going to be nobody close to Jimmy Butler. So that's what they got. That's who they're going to be, really. I don't see them trading Steph. I don't see Steph going to the front office and saying, I want to go win somewhere else. I want to leave. That seems backwards to me.
It wouldn't happen during the season, I don't think. But I mean, I'm like Bones. I was catastrophizing. Like, this could be the end of Jimmy Butler's career. I mean, he'll be 37 when he returns at the earliest. He's owed $54 million this season, $56.8 next season. That is a gigantic salary slot to get a 0 from if you're the Warriors. And then I was also like, is this the end of Stephen Curry's run in Golden State? Would he make some sort of a change during the offseason? Because we've been hearing reports leading up to this trade deadline that the Warriors were already hesitant to include future picks in anything for a trade to bring in a Michael Porter Jr. or a Trey Murphy III, a player sort of like that. Now, if they're thinking we just lost our second best player, Jimmy was playing great. I think part of the reason the Warriors have been surging here is how well Jimmy had been playing. He was even playing great last night before he went down with the injury. Does that mean that they're now more inclined to throw these picks into a trade or less inclined? If you throw out all of the history of Steph Curry and Draymond Green there in Golden State, throw out the 4 titles, impossible to do. But if you're just looking at a team that is led by all guys in their late 30s who are in the middle of the standings with a high salary floor or a high salary cap, it doesn't make any sort of sense to trade and bring players in to help this team win this year. But I think they owe it to Steph to try and continue to win as long as he's there. But it's hard from a front office team building perspective to say, yeah, we're sinking more and more assets into this team that's not going to win.
Yeah, you're right about the Warriors have been playing really well. Butler had been playing the best basketball of his season so far. I think he was, averaging for Jimmy, this was good, like 21, 22 points per game on pretty good efficiency in the month of January. That correlated with obviously them winning some games here. And now, the future direction of the franchise, just like it's a complete question mark now. Where do you go? How extreme are you? Are you still trading a bunch of draft picks for a key guy that can maybe help Curry and Draymond? That doesn't seem likely. The whole, could you turn to Kuminga and say, look, man, when Curry went down in game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals, Kuminga was slotted in there and was asked to score a lot. He played really well. They didn't win games against the Wolves, but Kuminga looked solid and scored 23 or 24 points per game on good efficiency. I don't know, though. It doesn't feel like Bones is no way. That ship has sailed, even if Steve says, oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. Maybe we'll try it. I don't know. The guy hasn't played in a month.
No.
Yeah,
he gets DMP CDs, so it doesn't make sense for them to keep him around for a long term. Maybe you can convince him and say, it's 2 weeks until the trade deadline, essentially.
Well, yeah.
Let's go out and get some better trade value by playing better.
Yeah.
There's that possibility. Steve Kerr, as he said, he's ready to play Jonathan Kuminga. So you imagine that he plays tonight against the Toronto Raptors in that position of literally Jimmy Butler starting. I don't see him coming off the bench as the 12th guy. But it's such a strange scenario. I do, again, long term, I see D'Anthony Melton being that guy. But the draft picks, I think, will be more available now. I think they have to help Steph as much as possible. Here's a positive for them. When all those trades, all those other teams are throwing out their picks, it doesn't seem like they're throwing out a lot. So maybe the Warriors don't have to trade a lot for another good player. That's the only
Right.
only positive thing to think about. But it is, it's crappy for Jimmy, obviously.
Had a lot of basketball played yesterday on MLK Day. I think there was 9 games total. We can just throw you the final scores here by way of the score. Thanks to them for this. Though this graphic drives me nuts. I swear it's crooked. Am I going crazy or is it a little crooked?
Yeah, it is.
Is it just because the logos are like slightly above the words of the team? I don't know. It
maybe.
drives me insane though.
Yeah, but sometimes they're not above, but sometimes they are. Like you see the Sixers
Like,
there. That's aligned.
Not straight. It's going down ever so slightly.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah, there's problems. There's just software problems. I listened to John Levy do a podcast this weekend. Oh man, to hear him vent about Penn Broadcasting and Dave Portnoy.
Oh my God.
What a
John
find.
Levy of the Score is what you're talking
that
about.
podcast, right, that app right there. That's John Levy that we're looking at. Align those logos and names. John.
Not John
That's
Level.
a crazy sentence.
I'll tell you
man.
that.
I was listening to John Levy do a podcast this weekend.
Yeah, the online gambling world. It's an interesting world, you know.
Do you have a big takeaway from besides that
John?
from NBA MLK Day? Any of those games?
Well, we heard Brent talk about the New York Knicks a little bit. That's the thing. They got blown out.
Yeah. Something's up.
Yeah,
Something's up with this team.
Cool. Yeah, as Trace McGrady was saying, maybe there's some infighting there, something going on. But that it's been going on for a while here. They started.
Well, they had the
crazy.
excuse of missing their MVP guy in Jalen Brunson, but now he's back.
Yeah, but
and they're missing Josh Hart, but now he's back.
Yeah, not over this whole stretch.
No, not over the whole
I
thing,
mean,
but
the first 32 games versus the last 11 games. It's pretty nuts. They go from the second best offense to the 22nd over this 11-game stretch.
Yeah.
They go from 16th on defense to 28th. Effective field goal percentage of the opponent, 18th to 27th. Opponent free throw rate, 14th to 28th. That just means you ain't moving. You ain't moving those tootsies, right? You could see it yesterday. The Mavericks were getting bucket after bucket. It was runway after runway.
Yes,
it was way,
Yes.
way too easy. So yeah, and this is a Dallas Mavericks team that's playing very, very capable NBA players. But their starting lineup yesterday, it was Cooper Flagg, Max Christie, Najee Marshall, Caleb Martin, Dwight Powell, and two-way guys came off the bench, and Musa Cisse, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Brandon Williams, Ryan Nembhard, and of course Clay. Everybody's beating them. Everybody's destroying the New York Knicks. Is it infighting? Is it in part, yes, the injuries, in part the NBA Cup win, and then a few weeks afterwards. So like this, that's possible. It's possible. I mean, is it? So you're saying, Trey? Do you think there is a infighting, as in they don't like each other? Something
I think
to
that's
that
part
effect?
of it. It seems to me that there's tension between Towns and Bridges, and I think part of the reason that Tom Thibodeau was let go was because Mikal Bridges didn't like Thibodeau. He's got the ear of Jalen Brunson, who's the best player on the team, but I think Cat preferred Thibodeau to Mike Brown because under Mike Brown's offense, he just stands around out there. He played well last night. Towns did hit some threes eventually, but in general, he is not nearly as featured as he was in the Thibodeau offense. I don't think. Maybe the way that Tibbs relied on Jalen Brunson last year covered up some things where in the fourth quarter, it's just like, give this guy the ball and he's going to hit every clutch shot, which he did. But it also meant they were playing a lot of clutch games. Nonetheless, Tibbs gets the most out of a team during the regular season. It just looks like things are not right. I don't know if it's because the trade deadline is coming around and it's like, should the Knicks trade Karl Anthony Towns for Anthony Davis? All of these things, I think, factor into what's going on. And what's going on is that the Knicks just don't care. They got ran off the court.
Yeah.
Max Christie hit 6 threes in the first half. Like you were saying, every time the Knicks would miss a shot, easy layup on the other end. Nobody would get back despite having the advantage. They'd have like 2 guys standing at half court and still somehow give up a layup. It was just complete zero effort from the Knicks. So I don't think things will change for this team until they figure out how to get back on the same page.
Yeah. They need the All-Star break to just maybe cleanse their palate a little bit.
No, here's what they need to do. Worldwide Wob was right. They got to hang the NBA Cup banner. They cursed themselves by not hanging it and respecting it as one should when you win it. And this is why they've been struggling here. No, it's that made me laugh, though. But yeah, it's rough. They're bad watch right now. And like, man, I get so, maybe it's just because we posted the Like a Bosch video, but man, I get so many Chris Bosh vibes from Karl Anthony Towns. as like he becomes an immediate scapegoat.
Yes, he is.
Right? You see like the similarities, like good players, all-star level players, all NBA type level players, but can so easily just become the scapegoat for a team. We suck because of you, man, because you're fine. No, he's not helping himself. This is a bad year for Karl Anthony Towns. Like, still borderline all-star. Maybe he makes it, maybe he doesn't. But, yeah, the defensive effort and all of that and how they're being exposed, it's rough right now. Any of those other games, TK, that jumped out to you?
Well, I told you guys about the January Clippers, and they're showing up like crazy. I know Bones has been talking about how they have to do a lot to beat these bad teams, but they're still beating their bad teams. They've won 13 of their last 15. They're 8-2 in January, 6th on offense, 4-0 in the clutch during January. They got a little lucky last night. James Harden, 16 of 16 at the free throw line, gets fouled, sent to the line, 2 free throws to ice it. Misses them both after starting 16 for 16, but bounces right back to him. Makes the next 2, finishes 18 for 20.
Yeah.
Math-wise, they're 10th in the West. They're 4 games under 500. They're going to make the playoffs and finish over 500 despite a terrible start to the season.
Well, you can see what dealing with your locker room in a positive way will do for a team. See ya, Chris Paul. Here we are. We're awesome now. Somehow.
That's true.
It is true. It's totally true. So, yeah, I don't think that's the Knicks' answer is cutting somebody, but there obviously is a problem in that locker room when you see Max Christie splash 8 threes when his career high was 5. There's an issue, obviously, there. But, yeah, the Clippers, they're clicking, obviously. And I guess Kawhi's not hurt. I mean, Kawhi can battle through it because he did miss. Was it 3? Or he's on this. He's on this road trip for 3 games, or missing 3 games on this road trip. So that's the scary part, I guess, is that he went home to deal with that knee, to stay away from the road trip. So I guess that's a positive sign. He's not playing.
How is
Positive
that
that he's missing games for an injury?
Well, they have not determined that he's out for a long term.
Well, no.
So I don't know. I'm just
I
trying
think
to
it's
find.
business as usual for the Clippers.
Right.
They're just used to having to deal with Kawhi not being there, and it's James Harden stepping up. He beat the Raptors and he beat the Wizards last night.
He did.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you just need your second guy. Cat's not doing that for the New York Knicks. The Clippers, yeah. Other than those 2 missed free throws, James Harden looked fantastic.
Closest game last night, Pistons, 1-point victory over the Celtics, 2 of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. A lot of missed shots, but these 2 teams were trying their asses off. I don't know how much you watched of it. I love watching both these teams because they give a damn. We are in sort of this weird time of the NBA season, late January. Everybody's sort of waiting for the All-Star break. Maybe there's a little malaise. Not these squads. There was a bit of like, no, we want to prove we're the best in the Eastern Conference. Pistons got it done in the end there. But any thoughts on Detroit 104, Boston 103?
Great Tobias Harris game. He was killing in the post, and I think that's very important for a Pistons team who is okay offensively, but has a lot fall on Cade Cunningham's shoulders. Last night, the Celtics were building a wall on Cade. Anytime he would even get any sort of advantage over his primary defender, there was like 2 bodies waiting for him, so shout out to him. 14 assists, 0 turnovers. Great game for Cade Cunningham, adjusting to the defense, and, Harris hit some threes late in this game. Jaden Ivey hit some threes late in this game, and Duncan Robinson was pretty hot as well all night long. So I thought that was a pretty emphatic victory for the Pistons, even though, Celtics could have taken it if Jaylen Brown hits a shot there at the end. But this would be a good series, I think, between these 2 teams.
Absolutely. I mean, credit to Tobias Harris on the last possession, forcing Jaylen Brown into a tough shot. I mean, a makeable shot that Jaylen Brown has sort of cooked all season in the mid-range jumper, but he just missed that one. Because the play prior, Tobias Harris got cooked by Jaylen Brown. I think that you're asking a lot from Tobias Harris out at the 3-point line to try and contain Jaylen Brown right now. And he just blew by him. So that was like, uh-oh. But yeah, 25 points, hit a bunch of threes. He's played his part here in steps up in some games. He's reminiscent to me like a little bit of Harrison Barnes, especially earlier in the year when Harrison Barnes was really good for the Spurs as that guy filling in, giving you 20 or whatever on any given night. So good win. That was a fun game. I'd love to see this team play.
They both fight. And that the Detroit Pistons are going to fight for every single game until this 82 games is done. They are going to fight. You saw them scrap against the Celtics. JB Bickerstaff's teams just keep scrapping. So that was absolutely fun.
31-10. Detroit Pistons at the halfway mark.
It's not much worse than the Thunder. We were talking about, are they going to win 75 games this year?
Damn good
they've
record,
fallen
man.
back to earth, but still. You see Jason Tatum working out. Did an hour-long workout in front of media. That's sending a signal. He will be back quite soon.
Yeah.
Think just after the All-Star break type vibes?
Yeah, maybe. Give him a month to kind of like
would
get
think
his
so.
legs underneath him for the playoffs. And even if he's just like a catch-and-shoot guy and their third playmaker, that's huge for the Celtics to get a guy like that back.
Oh, yeah. No, one of your predictions, he's going to hit a game winner
Yeah,
in
he
the
is.
postseason in one of the playoff games. I could see it. Let's move to the.
I was just going to shout out the Bucks versus Hawks peaches and cream matchup. Peachtree jerseys versus Cream City jerseys. Brutal possession for CJ McCollum at the end of this game. Nickeil Alexander-Walker had 17 points, went 5 of 6 from 3 in the fourth quarter, and CJ just wanted to dribble and shoot that last shot, and you could just see Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker on the other side. I think it was Kispert was down in the right corner, and they're just like,
yeah, that was.
he's shooting. He's shooting.
I mean, also the Hawks were down like 30 points, and they,
Yeah, man.
they fought and they got back into it. I don't know what that says about them or the Bucks as well. Both these teams are like two of my most depressing teams this year in Milwaukee and Atlanta. I at least gave people yesterday, a lot of kids in attendance, I assume, at the 1 p.m. start. An entertaining finish, but yeah, that McCollum possession at the end, oh my God.
What are you doing?
You knew he was going to try too. He's just stumbling and bumbling.
Yeah,
with
that
this
was
thing.
the weird thing, is that he just lost the ball. He didn't even get a bad shot up. He literally lost the ball. Now, he's had some good moments earlier this year with the Wizards. He hit that game winner. But it was weird that he was doing it. And it was weird how it finished. It was a bit of a heartbreaker there for the Hawks. It looked like they're coming back. Looks like they're going to steal it from the Bucks. I thought for sure.
All right. 10 starters for the 2026 NBA All-Star Game were announced on Monday. We'll show you the All-Star starters in the East in order of the graphic, which is quite sexy. Thank you to the NBA for this. It goes Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jalen Brunson, and Jaylen Brown.
2 Jalen's.
That's right. All-Star starters in the West. It goes Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Stephen Curry, and Victor Wembanyama. And we actually have the results of the fan, player, and media voting to determine the starters in both conferences. So you can really look at how it all went down and where their popularity, some of these guys were in terms of the players and the media and obviously the fan vote. Your big takeaways from the starters here. Tass, we'll start with you.
Well, first, you said that the jerseys are sexy. Is there a chance that we get actual team jerseys, like the players' team's
God,
jerseys?
I would love it.
Because we haven't seen anything about the actual All-Star jerseys. Now, they do come out sort of late
That's a
when it comes
good
down to it.
point.
We haven't seen anything.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything.
It is a while from now, so there's time. There's time.
And then we need to have 3 teams worth, I guess.
Well, the teams have enough jerseys.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, they want World.
Yeah, they're going to
and
want
USA.
World.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, okay.
Never mind.
No chance.
They're still
Anyways,
building them.
As starters go, it is good to see Steph Curry over Anthony Edwards, just because you start looking at that Western Conference team and you see guys who've won MVPs and titles, and Shai's got an MVP and a title. Jokic's got 3 MVPs and a title. How could you keep Steph off of those starters? It just doesn't make sense. As a multiple-time MVP and 4 championships. So
Anthony Edwards could have been in over Victor Wembanyama though too.
There is
and that
debate.
came down to actually the fan vote in the end.
Well,
Denny
yeah.
Avdia.
Yeah.
It's because Denny finished
right.
ahead of Wemby and ahead of Anthony Edwards. So they finished tied with weighted score.
Yeah.
Leader in the fan vote. Tie goes to the leader in the fan vote, and it was Wemby. All because Denny Avdia finished 5th in voting in the Western Conference.
So yeah, I'd have to look at the calculations. But then if Anthony Edwards finishes ahead of Denny in that, the calculations would put him over Steph or over
Wemby.
Yes.
Wemby.
Over Wemby.
Wemby.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's positionless, obviously. No.
Yes. Yeah, and the players voted for Edwards and Durant over Luka and Wemby. Pretty interesting.
Steph
there.
over Shea as well, I saw.
Yeah.
For the players.
But it's okay that Luka and Wemby are there. I know there's complaints. Luka's missed 20% of his games. Wemby's missed 30% of his games. But I still do think this is a fan's experience. And so it's all right if they get who they want, essentially. And Luka and Wemby, those are the guys that it comes down to when it comes to down to those 5, which are ridiculously good. It is weird that they're doing this. Here are the Western Conference guys. You're not going to be playing on the same team, but you're there.
That's
so
your conference
cool.
you're coming from.
Yeah, so it's good that they did this traditionally, so no one's super confused in the end of it. Like, you have to choose from an American player or this other thing. Either way, great players, and Edwards will be on the team no matter what.
He'll be starting one of the games.
Starter
Do
as
not
well.
worry.
Yeah.
I guess, less consensus in the Western Conference between all the voting blocks, but in the East, the 3 voting blocks, the fans, the media, and the players, they all picked the same 5 starters, just in a little different order. Donovan Mitchell, though, the other potential starter that we talked about, he was 6th in all 3 categories. So there was a lot more consensus there in the Eastern Conference. Any other takeaways, TK?
No, not really. Like you're saying, it's hard to be upset about snubs since the next 5 are going to be starting for whichever team it is. The 3rd All-Star team that's out there. I was happy to see Curry over Ant as well. I think if it's all NBA voting, Ant definitely the guy, but like Bones said, this is an exhibition game for the fans. So Steph Curry should be there, especially since Anthony Edwards hasn't shown a predilection for taking the All-Star weekend seriously in any way, shape, or form. So you're on the 2nd starting team.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was thinking about these USA versus world teams, and we obviously have a better idea of the world team because there's only one of them. But we have, from the starters alone, we have 2 guys who cannot take the All-Star game seriously at all in Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic. From what we've seen ever before. Like, they just don't give a damn. But then on the same team, you've got Giannis, and you have Victor Wembanyama, and even I'll say Shea seems to take it maybe what we saw last year, like a little bit more seriously than some of the other guys. So it's like a funny mixture here on maybe the starters for the world team. You got 2 guys that generally don't give a damn, again, in Luka and Jokic, and then I think 3 guys that seem to care a lot more about
You're
this
starting
stuff.
to buy in. Yeah.
Well, that part's fascinating to me.
For
Who will win out in the locker room of the world?
It makes the bench of the world very important.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think Jokic and Luka would be happy to say, no, you guys go.
Yeah.
We'll just sit here.
Yeah, we'll start.
We'll
and
take
give
the
it-
tips.
Yeah, right.
But I totally agree. Those guys you mentioned, Wemby in his first All-Star game last year, that wasn't an All-Star game. He was out there playing in that first game hard. He was playing hard. Giannis, as soon as he saw that the USA playing the world thing was going to happen, he starts tweeting about it. He's like, yeah! He wanted to play. And when we saw him out there, he played hard. He was defending at the 3-point line. He wants to win. And Shea's going to try as well. So, yeah, you could see it happen. You could see it. The whole... The formatty thing kind of ruins it apart. Like, hopefully the team that plays that first little game doesn't sit there for an hour and a half before they get back out there, because this isn't even a game. It's these 3 little tournament things. Other takeaway is that the chance of Scotty Barnes missing the All-Star game, I think, is real. You saw the players and fans voted Brandon Ingram higher than Scotty Barnes. So if the coaches who vote for the All-Stars have any link to how the players are voting, I could see that. Yeah, you could see Scotty Barnes not even on there, while Brandon Ingram 8th by the players. And I don't know how high the players voted him because it's not on the list. He didn't make the top 10. And same goes with the fans. I'm not sure about the media, but you could see that. You could see those 2 guys' votes from the coaches who vote for the reserves kind of canceling each other out. So there's a possibility that he doesn't make it.
One other takeaway, and I saw this from ESPN, the question asked to their panel of experts was, what should the league do about LeBron's 21-year All-Star streak? And Dave McMenamin, who I love, big Dave McMenamin fan, guy can hoop too. This guy's a shooter. But covers the Lakers, covers LeBron, has for a long time. Dave wrote, if LeBron James is healthy, he should be in the All-Star game. Is he one of the best American players in the league? Yes. Are the Lakers a factor in the West? Yes. Are his numbers worthy of consideration? Let's call it 22.5, 6 and 7. Yes. If the coaches don't vote LeBron James in as a reserve, then it's up to Adam Silver to put him on the roster. To which I say, fuck it is. Why? He hasn't said he's retiring. So this is so strange to me. If they pick him, sure, they pick him. They probably will. But it's not up to Adam Silver. If LeBron has not come out and said, this is it, guys, this is my swan song, like we saw with other players, Michael Jordan maybe back in Atlanta, even though the fans, of course, still in love with him. Kobe, 2016, same thing. Really, the Dirk and Dwayne Wade being added, we knew it was the end. But I don't think we can do it with LeBron if he's like, no, this is it. That is so strange to me. Am I alone?
I'm with Dave. I want LeBron there.
So then what? We just do it again next season?
Yeah. I would do it every season until he retires.
Okay, LeBron last year screwed a guy out of an all-star spot.
Who?
Anyone. Whoever's next on the list.
Name him.
He didn't show up
Name him,
and then didn't even play, Trey. That's
I don't
strange.
care. I don't care. It's the All-Star
What do you mean
game.
you don't care? You want LeBron there, but he didn't even play in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So he doesn't care.
Yeah, I agree. He should care. But he should be there every single year until he retires. This is a game about stars.
He's playing well.
Okay, if he's selected by the coaches, absolutely. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, he doesn't deserve it. But this part where if he doesn't get picked by the coaches, that then we now have to just put him there? When he hasn't said it's the end, that part is so weird to me.
I don't think
'Cause you could do that for like
Dirk
3 years.
and Wade hadn't both said it was the end either.
I think it was implied it was the end, though.
They hadn't
From what
said
I
it.
remember, well, it was like 2019, right? I think it was pretty implied that it was like
It was
they were done.
2019, and they were both selected as these
Honorary
ceremonial,
captain, yeah.
like you're on one team and you're on the other. So basically, they had two of them. That's the difference between LeBron. There was an East and a
Sure.
West back in the day, and so they took those spots.
Again, I have no
That's
problem with
different.
that though. Like when it's the end and it's like you're
Yeah,
like this is like
I'm not
to
sure.
honor an absolute legacy. I get that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's odd to me that if we were to do it this year, if Silver's like, yep, put LeBron in, and then he plays again next year and whatever, maybe he's injured for the first half or obviously finally starts to fall off, whatever. But then we just do it again. We just keep doing it. That's weird to me, man.
It's odd, especially because he may not want to be there at all. I mean, he's obviously honored the game plenty, but I think LeBron and Adam will probably talk it over.
Yes.
They'll probably know if this is the end, then you should be there. Or do you want to be there? Period.
Yeah.
I mean, should we just skip you and not have you as a ceremonial guy? They'll talk it out. But this will be the first NBA All-Star to ever have sciatica if he goes there. There's never been an All-Star in NBA history. I'm not checking everybody's injury reports, but sciatica? And you go play in the NBA game? Really strange. Like, you start thinking of 40-year-olds. Like, when MJ did it, he didn't have sciatica. Nobody has. Even though he was that old. But anyway, it's up to LeBron, really, what it comes down to.
Yeah. If he wants to play, I think he should be a starter for the second team.
Right, because there's two teams. Yeah. Well, we'll find out the All-Star reserves, I think, next week. I'm pretty sure that's when we find out. It's like February 1st, maybe. Well, maybe that's a week and a half, actually. All right, whoa, boy. Sponsored by Sammy J93. He wanted to sponsor the show on behalf of Tassos Greek Yogurt. It's Greeky freaky good.
Yeah.
It is.
It
It's
is.
a yogurt you created, I guess, along with sort of Giannis, or you were trying to pitch Giannis on selling it.
Yeah, that was the whole bit. Giannis Antetokounmpo, that was his thing. And I guess Sammy J remembers the day.
Yeah.
The Giannis Antetokounmpo said, Tassos Greek yogurt. It's Greeky freaky good.
So good.
Yeah. Giannis killed it. Sold so much yogurt. Thank you.
Well, Woboy goes to Tyrese Maxey in the end, and here's why. Guy had 8 steals in Philadelphia's win versus the Pacers. Like James Harden, great game. Wemby, good game. Both Alexander Cousins, good games. SGA and Nikhil. But Maxey, 29 points. The 8 steals, like I said, 12 of 24 from the floor. Perfect at the line. 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 block. I geek out anytime I see a high number there in that steals or blocks column. It's something special to me, man. It means something to me.
8.
Yeah. So Maxey, well boy. All right, pick 'em, Tass. Where are we going?
We shall go to Philadelphia, even though it's AWS Rivals Week. Did you guys know it's Amazon Web Services Rivals Week? It's sponsored by
Yes.
Amazon Web
Yes.
Services.
I saw.
And they're featuring the Spurs Houston game. Fantastic. But I went with the smaller line, the tiniest line of them all. Philadelphia's here by 1.5 at home to Phoenix. Should be a good game. Trey, you've got Phoenix going into Philadelphia, I guess, because Phoenix is balling.
Yeah, literally, who knows? It's double
a
back
shrug.
to back as well,
Yeah.
right?
Both have played
Yeah.
yesterday, and both look damn good. Dylan Brooks had 6 threes, I think. Colin Gillespie had 5 threes. Everybody's splashing on that team. So it's going to be a tough game
It's
for
a
both
tough one
teams.
to pick.
Yeah.
I went back and forth too. I ultimately went with the home team like Tess. Got to win by 2. Screwed me last night though. I had the Pistons winning, but I needed them to win by 4, and they didn't cover, so I did take that L. I'm 8-4. Trey 7-5. Tess 6-6. Man, look at us. Everybody at 500 or above here.
For a
As
day.
we get into the later stages, yeah, for a day. That's right. Well, I guess in theory we could
guys,
all be above
for sure.
500 after tonight if Philadelphia wins,
true.
because
Yeah,
Trey
yeah.
would still be 7-6.
Yep.
So we will see. Yeah, Rivals Week. I saw one of the rivals. I think it's tomorrow night. Huge rival between the Cavaliers and Hornets.
No.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The
Isn't that
Ball
a big
brothers.
rival? Yeah.
Ball brothers. That's literally the only
That's
explanation.
so silly, man.
This is the dumbest thing they do.
I know. And
There's-
they
it's-
stuck with it for a while. They keep trying.
exactly right. And it does literally nothing.
Yeah.
They just want anything to be similar to the NBA Cup. They're
Yeah.
like, we need something
Brandon.
during the most important time of football. Literally anything that could get eyes, but this isn't it.
Right.
This is not it.
This
They
is
should do
not-
another tournament.
Football Cup.
Yeah, football cup. Have them play flag football against each other. People would tune in.
Oh, God, I'd be fascinated.
Yeah.
That's going to be an Olympic event this year, right?
Flag
or
football?
in 28, sorry. In LA.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so. Because like every
Yeah,
home
yeah,
Olympics
it
get
is.
to add a couple events that they want to try
so.
out. I think it is.
I think so too. Yeah.
That's sort of fun.
Yeah.
Remember there was talk of Rondo maybe being on the team. I don't think that's happening.
Oh yeah, he's supposed to be a great flag football quarterback, right?
Yeah.
I'll take the U.S. to win the gold in this one.
I would
Flag football.
I would
I think they're
agree
gonna
with
do it,
that. Yeah. I think teams are just figuring out what flag football. Other countries right now are figuring out what flag football is and are putting together a team. That'd be a good chance, like if you're from whatever country where football's not popular, like pretty
how you
good
get
chance
in,
to
man.
get into the Olympics. Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, let's put together. It's like that breakdancing woman for the Australian team.
Yeah.
She's like, nobody else is doing it.
Yeah, Dyson Daniels could make the Australian flag football team
100%.
Easily, he could.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's a
now
golden
Australians
opportunity.
could be actually maybe good at flag football.
True.
I mean, they have Aussie rules and do have rugby.
Where's all the
Some
scrums,
crossover.
mate?
Yeah.
You guys don't pile on top of each other, eh? All right.
It is fun. I was there in Greece in 2004. They asked me to be on the baseball team. They said, we need guys. Come on out,
Oh,
man.
you know how to play baseball?
But no, what the strange thing is with flag football, how many teams are they asking for? Like,
I don't know.
because
Great
It
question.
all of
won't
a
be. It
sudden
won't
you're
be
like,
represented by every country. Yeah. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, well, it's like you got to come up with a bunch of players. Yeah, it might be a teeny tiny small tournament. Are there Olympic sports where it's like almost B sports of Olympics? Like they're just kind of like, I mean, that's kind of
Well,
what
I mean,
the dance.
we
is.
did have breakdancing last year.
Baseball
No
was.
offense. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it?
I think baseball is actually kind of similar to flag football in that only Americans really care about it.
Hey, there's lots of teams that care.
That's true.
Japan as well.
There are a
Asia.
lot of Latin America companies
And
and,
Latin America.
countries and Asian American
Yeah.
or Asian companies.
But they had way too many.
Companies.
Can't stop saying companies, man. I've been living in America so long.
Yeah.
My mind is addled with these corporations.
Man,
But again, nobody cares. And that's why baseball went away and came back. It's, football is now our national pastime, so we got to figure out a way to get it in there.
yeah, it's only because it's here.
Yeah.
It's very strange. But listen, the brands get to you, man. I get it. The companies, Amazon Web Services. I'm talking about who's promoting the NBA Rivals Week. There used to be some good Rivals games. It just depends on the game, if it's good or not. Like last year, I think we liked Rivals Week because there was good games. But that just means there's good games. I don't think guys are really getting up. Like the Lakers Nuggets could have been a good game tonight, but no, Jokic kind of changes things. I don't know if Amazon Web Services is going to get a lot of clients because the game's not going to be all that good. But Rockets
So you
Spurs
consider
should be
Nuggets Lakers a rivalry?
It was for a second
Yeah.
when Mike Malone was talking trash.
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
And when
little bit.
Jokic shot over
More
Anthony
than the Hornets
Davis
Cavs, I'll give
to
you
go
that.
win the championship, on the way to the championship.
Mm-hmm.
But Cavs Hornets, what is that?
I miss the days when it used to be Bulls versus Hornets because they had Lonzo. That's the only reason
Yeah.
that this is rivals is
Yeah.
because of Lonzo and LaMelo.
then let's just do Brothers Week.
Brothers Week.
Because there's so many brothers, obviously, in the league. Let's just have them
Week.
play each other and do a bunch of jersey swaps that they've already done anyway. Who cares? Run it back.
Maybe they'll do that.
Brothers Week.
It's Brothers Week. It comes in March now.
Imagine Brent Barry during Brothers Week back in the day.
Man,
he would have played all week.
Back to back. This is unfair.
Got to play Drew, then I got to play Kenyon. All right. Thanks so much to Brent Barry for joining us here today. Oh, yeah, we got a new merch alert. Tess, did you see the new shirt that we dropped yesterday?
First?
Whoa. Easy, Clipper,
No,
bro.
I didn't hear it here
relax,
first.
Clipper,
I
bro.
heard it multiple times. Of course I saw this design and go back and forth. There it is.
Yeah, go to nodunks.com. Limited run. Brent Barry said he already bought one. I guess that was before we went live. He told us off air. Or was that on air? I can't remember. We talked to him for like 10 minutes before we went live, so it's all bleeding together. But anyway, go to nodunks.com. You got till the end of the month to get this limited edition 20-year anniversary No Dunk shirt from our friends at Breaking Tea. It will ship early February. But I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I had somebody ask me, they're like, 5600 Spalding Drive. I used to go to a post office that had that address. I was like,
Well, yeah, that's real, guys. That's the
real.
P.O. box for us. So I can't believe it's Spalding, man. It's amazing. You picked it on purpose, didn't you?
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right, we're going to have something fun tomorrow as we continue to celebrate 20 years, too. We're doing a squad episode called 20 Years of Classics. That's right. We're going to be drafting from moments and guests and other things from our past 20 years of doing a podcast. So if we have notable games tonight from any of these rivalry games, we'll talk about them as well off the top. But for the most part, doing a squad tomorrow. I know a lot of you will be excited for that. We're going to have some fun. So join us then. Till then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, Brent Barry's a nice guy.
Brent Barry's the best.
he might get drafted tomorrow.
Oh,
Off his appearance today.
I already had him on my short list, and I think he's skyrocketing to the top of my draft board.
Great combine performance from Bones.
Natural. He's a natural.
Embrace the day, people.